I watched his video on this, and I've been meaning to go over there. So I don't know if it's a limited time or something, so. But I have another interesting event, which gives, how do they say it, gives fodder to my critics that I always act confused. I just tell the story how it happened. So, it's rainy. I didn't even know it was raining. I grabbed just my camera because to get all my equipment, I thought I'd do it in car review, but it's raining, so I just grabbed the Sony and brought that so I can show you the ambiance of the drive over there. But before I go over, I check the local. When you look at a menu, it asks you to put in, the nearest location, and then they can give you the prices. They don't give you the prices if you're just looking at, there's no cookies on your computer, and they don't know where you are. So this crispy chicken Chizza combo was $12.99, I believe. So I got a large side of mac and cheese, and you get fries with this combo, and I got a Dr. Pepper. I almost ordered. They had a display at the menu. That was like, was it right on top of the speaker box? And it was fries, but I think it was like, it looked like home, it looked just like French fries with cheese on them, but I thought they called them home fries or something. But let's take a look at the chicken. Here's the large mac and cheese. I gotta try some. Get my spork. This is one thing I haven't tried making on my own, is getting all the cheeses and making my own fresh mac and cheese. Which reminds me of a story, so I hope I don't forget. So let's take a look at the chicken. There it is. I have to tell you that I didn't think, or I still don't think, it just seems an odd combo to put pepperoni and marinara sauce. Well, if you got the cheese and marinara on chicken, you gotta have spaghetti. It's a pasta meal. When you put pepperoni on it, I don't know what you're going for then. I almost was contemplating making some pasta for, at home. Put it on the side. So that's that. might ask, what's this event that occurred through the drive-thru? Well, I go through the drive-thru and I get to the speaker. You know, they don't have it like McDonald's with the electronic menu. And I don't even look at, I'm sure there's one with the number on it, but I said, I'd like the crispy chicken combo, the crispy chicken Chizza combo. And there's like a 5 seconds of dead, 10 seconds of dead air. And then he's like, what is it you want? And I'm like, he says, you want the meal, the chicken meal? And I'm like, no, the Chizza combo. And he's like, oh, and he was like confused. That's what it's called on the website. So then he's like, anything else? And I'm like, yeah, I like a side of mac and cheese. And he asked, do you want the small or the large? And I thought, well, let me get the large. It looks better on camera. So I said the large. I told him I wanted a Dr. Pepper drink. And then I asked, because I wasn't certain if I mixed up another fast food restaurant's online website with the KFC, because I know I've had it's like a bundt cake, the lava cake, I think they have it, but they have a brownie. So I said, well, do you have any brownies? And he goes, let me check. So he says, yeah, we have a brownie. So I got the brownie. So then I go through the window, and he goes to the window and he says, that'll be $26.75. Now, if there was no audio and just a camera on me, you would be able to see the point where my face just goes. So he gives me my meal, and it's a big bag, as you see, and I've got this. So I'm like, oh, I bet I didn't get what I ordered. He gave me a chicken meal or something. So I pull out, go into the space in front, and look through. And I'm relieved that I have the Chizza. But I'm like, what is this? I wanted a brownie. I never had a brownie at KFC. Is this like what they give you if you get a meal? Don't they sell? I'm pretty sure the picture on the website shows a brownie. This is the brownie meal, I guess, probably. You get this when you order a meal and you want brownies for like 5 people or something. But this is the brownie I got. That's how it, I don't know what to say. Oh, you don't get, this is the utensil I got. Let me go get a fork and a knife. I do have my own coleslaw, but that's the Chizza meal. So you don't even get this. You get chicken and fries and a drink. All right. So I thought it were going to be like 4 smaller pieces, but that's the proportion size you get. 2 of those. They should make a sandwich out of it, maybe. So I'm using my own. Uh-oh. You get your mac and cheese in with my coleslaw. That would be a meal. So I had put my own spin on it. Got to use this sugar-free or no sugar added. So here's the chicken. Yeah, it's pressed, so it comes off as a chicken cutlet. I'm craving pasta. When you put marinara or spaghetti sauce on chicken, breaded chicken, as chicken cutlet, this should be a pasta meal. It's good. I don't have any, what do they call it, gristle or anything like that. It's definitely like a compressed chicken. It's not a flaky like you get at, well, like you can get at KFC for like their sandwich. Yeah, I don't know. The pepperoni's kind of good. It's good quality too. It's regular pepperoni. What I was thinking about the mac and cheese is that my mother used to make tuna fish casserole, which consisted of, macaroni, and I think she'd use a can of the mushroom soup and tuna fish, and then you sprinkle breadcrumbs on top of that and bake it in the oven. Well, if you've ever had, I don't think I've ever had cream of mushroom soup, I think it's called, on its own. But they have little bits of mushroom in there. And as a kid, that dish would always make me gag. My dad would try to get me to eat, and I wouldn't eat it. They'd force me to eat it. They actually brought me to the doctors when I was like in kindergarten, and they complained that I wouldn't eat, that they could only get me to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And the doctor said, and you're complaining I can't get my kid to eat anything. He said, just leave him alone. You're lucky he eats peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So those little pieces of mushroom, I thought they were the fish's eyeball. I'll never forget that. was a texture thing. I think for the rest of the, I could eat it, but I didn't like those bits of mushrooms in it. I mean, really, this is something you could get at Domino's or Puppuccino's. It just doesn't mesh with the whole concept of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. This dish is trying to make. They're trying to be something they're not. As soon as it's like you go to a local sub shop and you get a chicken parm sub. That's the flavor. To match it with fries. It's equivalent to getting fries with your spaghetti dinner. It's good, but it's confusing. It's good quality chicken. I don't even want to have the fries because it just doesn't go together. I looked at the website. I forgot about their chicken sandwiches with the pickle on it. How long ago was that when Popeyes introduced that new chicken sandwich that everybody wanted? Wow. Okay, let's dig into this American single serving brownie. I noticed they actually have on KFC, they have, I thought it was called a tub, but I think it's a bucket. I'm like, what is that for a drink size? It's almost 2 liters, but they show a bag. I thought it was one of those like wine containers, you know, the bottled wine and the, what do they call it? I've never gotten anything like that before. It's in a flexible container. What do you call that? It's escaping me what you would call that. But I think it was just a liter bottle if they put it in a bag or something. Well, this isn't even cooked, I don't think. This go good with ice cream. This is like having raw dough, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Oh well. I was up late this morning, and I go into the kitchen. I don't know, I put a glass away or something into the sink, and I coughed. And as soon as I coughed, my heart skipped a beat because it was almost like right under the window. A fox let out a cry. Have you ever heard a fox? The first time I heard it was a couple of years ago in the neighborhood, because as far as I knew, we never had foxes in the neighborhood. Once, 10 years ago, I was taking my dad to dialysis, and to my surprise, I look up the driveway, and in broad daylight in the middle of the day, a fox walked by, strutting, all proud on the sidewalk, with a squirrel in its mouth. But, yeah, it's now a regular thing with foxes. But they have this blood-curdling yell. First time I heard it a couple of years ago, I thought somebody was getting murdered. But it wasn't like, when I was thinking of American Werewolf in London, where they're in the moors, or they go off in the beginning there when they get attacked, and you hear the howl in the distance, and it gets closer and closer. This was just like one yelp. Right when I must have startled it, or must have heard it when I coughed. I have to slice these up, wrap them in saran wrap, put some in the freezer. It's almost like, I like it. It's very moist, and it's almost like, uncooked batter. Except for the top crust. On that bucket drink, I'm pretty sure menus on your computer. If you go for KFC menu, it gives like a national menu, so you're not going to have prices on it. And they're going to have items that you probably don't have. Like I wanted to get, they called it a blackberry lemonade. They don't have it at our KFCs, or at least this one that I went to. And you could get a bucket size, and it was over 900 calories. It was like 960 calories. I said, oh, let me get one of those as a novelty thing for the video. But then when I put in the zip code and select this specific KFC, you don't have that on the selection. And I was watching some music videos, which is a double-edged sword because they remind you how old you're getting. So I watched Peter Gabriel live. I don't know where he was. It was an 1987 concert, and he sang Sledgehammer. So I said, gee, I wonder if he's done anything recently. And he did a concert, and in Italy, I think it was. Verno. I forget the name of the city. So it was just last year. And you know what he looks like? He looks like me, or I look like him without the glasses. I think he's 73 years old. But the funny thing is he sounds just like the 1987 live concert. His voice hasn't changed. I had another strange occurrence that things that make you go, as you might or might not know, I have an electronics channel, or I did. I really haven't put a lot of effort into it recently. But just for some reason, I was thinking of electronics or doing instructional videos again for that channel. Or teaching videos. And I thought about, it's like an iconic picture. I have it in one of my electronics books. And it's the two guys. One guy's name's Bardeen, I believe. I forget the name of the other guy. That invented the transistor. And it's an iconic picture of the first transistor that was made. And I was just thinking of it. I hadn't been on the internet or anything. And I go on YouTube, and you get that homepage of videos that they recommend. And there's the picture of that iconic picture of a video on the transistor. And I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't been online. I was just thinking about that and that particular subject. And I'm like, that is kind of creepy. And I had it a couple of times, but I think it's just because you're on the internet so often, you think these things. It's just random. But then I thought, wait a minute, no, I did watch a video on a solar roadway failure that is now being torn up. But out of the hundreds of thousands of topics on electronics, to get that particular one, I had it happen. I was thinking of getting a bike a couple years ago. I was just thinking of it. I hadn't done any searches or anything. And then I was watching a YouTube video, I think, and then I got an ad for a bike. And I just scratched my head and I'm like, nah, just my imagination. They're not mind reading now, right? Through your computer. Well, I think that's all the stores. Yeah, I was kind of surprised at the price when he told me what the total was. And I thought you got an individual brownie wrapped in saran wrap. I thought that's what they showed as an individual brownie. Is this the smallest size brownie you get from? I guess even that cake, you get a whole cake. You don't get you can't get a slice. Oh well. So that was the new KFC. Crispy chicken Chizza. Excuse me. It's good. I actually like the combination, I guess. But it's confusing for me. I want to have pasta while I'm eating that chicken. It's like a chicken parm cutlet, that you have on a sub, or you get a chicken parm meal at your local sub shop with pasta. I don't think KFC, they could make a sandwich out of it maybe, but I don't think fries go good with it. The mac goes good with it. And I don't even think the coleslaw, I was surprised, I didn't think the coleslaw went with it either. For me, it's definitely a pasta meal that needs pasta, and I don't think KFC wants to go in that direction. If they want to do chicken parm sandwiches, go in that direction maybe. But yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by on this rainy Tuesday, March 5th. Thank you for your support and your comments. Thanks for using the Amazon affiliate link in the description to make any of your Amazon purchases. Thanks to all my PayPal contributors. And yeah, thank you for your continued support. Until next, I forgot to turn off the refrigerator and the light, incandescent light that's on the ceiling fan. It's funny, I blocked it out unless it just turned on. I didn't even hear the refrigerator until just now. But the thing with the light on the ceiling fan is they're incandescent lights, and they sort of flicker a little bit. I don't think that maybe they're made like that. It's a clear bulb with the filament. You can see the filament. And I think someone mentioned before in a video that you get a certain strobing effect in the video lighting. So my bad. Well, till next video, everyone. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Bye.